Today we are talking Charlamagne the God, a radio personality at the Breakfast Club. Well, apparently he recently visited Ghana, and we're about to get into conversation on how his experience went. Stay tuned. So in this brief synopsis, Charlamagne describes what his experience was like when he visited Ghana. And he talks customer service at the local restaurant. You know what? I'm going to just let him go ahead and tell y'all first, and I will follow up with it. Let's check out this clip.
I wanted to go to Ghana for the last couple of years.
Why Ghana specifically?
I was going to go to the Door No Return in 2020.
What is that?
The Door No Return is where the slaves, that was the last place they walked out of before they boarded the ships to, be sent throughout the diaspora for enslavement, whether it's, and if I'm explaining this right, not just America, I'm pretty sure that it was the Caribbean and everywhere else.
Yep. South America, Central America, North America.
Yep. So, I just wanted to go to Ghana for the past couple of years because everybody was just telling me how amazing Ghana was. Like, literally, everybody was like, oh, the nightlife is crazy. The food is crazy. You did your ancestry test. You're 97% West African. Like, that's where you should go. So I just wanted to go. And it was absolutely positively incredible. Let me tell you something about service in Ghana.
Yeah.
It is the nicest, most terrible service you will ever receive.
Talk to me.
These people are so nice. These people are so loving. When they say welcome home, they really mean that. I don't know, but that is one thing that you even hear people from Ghana talk about. They talk about like, that is something that we have to tighten up, especially being that we're getting such an influx of tourists, not just from America, but from Europe. There's so many black people from so many different places going to Ghana. You know what I mean? I still had a great time. I mean, I put it like this, the wait is worth it. I only had that experience in one restaurant. Every other time I had to wait, it was like room service. And then once you understand that they move on their own time. I did say that a few times. But, other than that, man, it was an incredible experience. I think everybody should, go, whether you're black, whether you're white, whatever, just because like even the slave castles, man, Cape Coast Castle and I think it's Elmina Castle.
Okay.
And it's just like, it's really slave dungeons, so it shows you where the slaves were held captive, the female dungeons, the male dungeons, the dungeons that they sent the unruly slaves who they could not get to, compromise or conform in any way, shape, or form. They would just literally throw them in this one dungeon, and you don't come out till you die. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
I want y'all to know that Uncle Charla was not wrong, and service here in Ghana can be very ridiculous. His experience is very real. He's not exaggerating when he speaks of his experience when it comes to customer service at these restaurants in Ghana, which has been like my biggest issue. It's just like they don't care. It's like they don't care about customer service. I don't know if it's due to lack of training or if that's just not what the custom is here, to just put the customer first. I don't know what's happening. But all I do know is that the customer service when it comes to restaurant and experience in Ghana is for sure lacking. And I say all the time, how are we going to project Ghana forward into the future if we're still struggling with this issue of customer service? Like, come on now, this is 2023. It's ridiculous. You will literally go to a restaurant and order your food and be waiting for an hour for your meal. Like, to me, that's ridiculous. And I've tried to reason, like, maybe it's because I'm from America, things are a little different there. But no matter which angle you look at it, it's crazy. It's no excuse for why their response to customer service is just not there. And I don't want to say all of Ghana is like that, because you can find some good restaurants here in Cape Coast. You can also find some good restaurants in Accra that the service is excellent. Just like there's a restaurant located here in Cape Coast, which I absolutely love. And I eat there all the time because they have American food. Their service, amazing. I met the owner. I was like, your service is amazing. A video is going to come soon on that restaurant, so stay tuned for that. But I just was really giving her props because I was like, you are just doing such an amazing job here. Like, you are really changing the narrative. That's what I'm all about. changing the narrative of Ghana, because the narrative here sometimes, just like the narrative of Americans in the States sometimes, you know, we need to change the narrative all across the board. It's not just isolated to America. It's not just isolated to Ghana. All across the board as brown-skinned people, okay? We need to begin to change our narrative and do things differently. So this one particular restaurant, I was like, you are amazing. Like, your service, excellent. Staff, excellent. Response to customers when they enter your door, just impeccable. Just all around a good experience at this one particular restaurant, which I don't want to say because it's going to be a future video coming on the topic. And then I went to a restaurant in Accra, which I don't want to say. It is on the channel. So if you're looking hard enough, you will find it, because I did do like a brief little, you know, snippet of it. But I plan to even revisit there because it was such a good experience to do a full out experience of dining there. So that is going to be, you know, something that I'm planning for very soon. So I don't want to, you know, say the restaurant, but hint, hint, it is on the channel. So if you're looking hard enough, you'll find it. But even there, the service was really good. So I don't want to speak and say that every single restaurant in Ghana is like horrible service, because that's not true. And even you hear that from Charlamagne's own mouth. It was only one restaurant out of his whole experience, which is good. You know, we're getting better, that means. And so I just feel like when it comes to a restaurant experience, you know, if you're a restaurant owner and you're tuning in, we got to do better when it comes to the staff and situation, because even me, you know, myself and Babe, we have literally walked out of restaurants here in Cape Coast due to the lack of service. And when I tell y'all, it's been horrible. Like, we will walk in, nobody greets us. They'll all be sitting around, sleeping on their phones, and we'll just be sitting around like, what did we come here to, like, watch the walls, the ceilings, the fans? Like, what's happening here? And so we've had that negative experience, but we've also had a positive experience. So it's not all bad. So don't get discouraged if you're coming here to Ghana to visit, because it's not all bad, but you do have some restaurants, unfortunately, that's just very lacking in the customer service department. So I'm hoping that, you know, as we advance forward into the future, that we begin to implement this customer service training for staff at restaurants, because I feel like a large part of the issue when it comes to customer service is the lack of education. They're not educating them. You know, they're underpaid. A lot of times it's hot conditions. So, you know, the heat tends to make you sleepy. Maybe I'm making excuses at this point, but it is what it is, and it's a reality. Heat in Ghana will make you so exhausted, and you want to sleep. So when you think about if you're pulling an 8-hour shift and you're at these restaurants and you're working, you're tired. Like, and it's not even like you didn't get enough sleep. You're just drained. The heat is draining. So I feel like not only should restaurant owners begin to educate their staff, they also need to like get some AC. Like, it's crazy. A lot of these restaurants that you visit here in Cape Coast does not have AC. So you are sitting in the heat, you sweating. Don't order a soup that got a lot of spices in it. You almost dead before you finish your meal. It's so hot. Because you know what it's like to be sitting in the heat and then you eating hot food on top of it. Because they put all these peppers and stuff, you know, in their food. You almost dead. So I just feel like overall we have to get to a place where we have better customer service experience here in Ghana. So Charlamagne is not wrong. He's not attacking Ghana by any means. It happens. I'm glad that he took the initiative to come here and visit Ghana. He's most often in Johannesburg. So that's like, you know, his place of frequent visits. So for him to take his time to like just give Ghana an opportunity and come here to see, you know, what's the buzz about? Let me see what's going on, you know, what's happening. And for him to have that experience, I'm a little disappointed. You know, I had a viewer that said, when you're speaking of Ghana, don't speak of it as if you're not a part of it. Speak as if you're a part, you know, and you're a Ghanaian. So I'm going to say us Ghanaians have to do better when it comes to projecting our customer service forward to the world. We're not going to get nowhere by, you know, waiting forever for a meal. You don't care. And like he said, like, they are the nicest people, which they really are. And it makes it hard for you to go off because you're like, oh my gosh, they just delivering this. Like, they just too nice about this. How do I go off when they just so pleasant, you know? So it's one of those tough situations where you feel trapped unless you one of those Americans that you just don't care about the culture, where you at, or where you just want what you want and you're going off regardless. If you're one of those people, then okay. But if you're one of those considerate people who are like, you know what, they're so nice about it, but maybe I'll never visit this restaurant again. And I feel like that's what happens a lot. Like, you may come to the restaurant, you may have a bad experience, and you may not say nothing, as a person traveling in here to Ghana. Go about your business and you just will never go there again. And not only will you never go there again, but when you return to the States or wherever you're coming from, you're going to be sure to spread the word. I went to this particular restaurant. The service was horrible. If you're ever visiting Ghana, don't go there. So this is a message to all restaurant owners as well. You don't want to be that restaurant that's getting bad recommendations by word of mouth, because when I tell you word of mouth is the fastest traveling way of advertisement. So if you have so many people backing up the same claim that restaurant is horrible, 9 times out of 10, when people come and they visit, they are not going to want to visit your restaurant. They've heard nothing but bad things. Don't be that restaurant. Make sure that you're training your staff adequately. Make sure that you're taking that time to make sure that your staff is comfortable, because again, if your staff is not comfortable, they're not going to perform to their greatest potential. They not. They tired. They in the heat. They exhausted. It's just, we got to do better. We got to do better. As employees, we have to do better. As employers, we have to do better. And I hope to, as we Babe and I begin our investments, that, we just project this different narrative of better customer service here in Ghana. And I hope that anybody else who is planning to come here and invest, take customer service seriously, begin to change the narrative, not only of projecting a better experience for customers, but a better experience for your employees. Make the conditions comfortable enough to where they can do their job without feeling drained and overworked and tired and unappreciated because they're getting paid 2 CDs a day. Treat your employees well, and guess what? In turn, they will treat your company well. I recently got an email from a viewer, and I said that going forward, I want to be sure to showcase some of the responses that I get. So I want to take a moment and read this response that I got from a viewer. So this particular email response that I received is from Nana Mandela. Big shout out to you for sending me an email. So I'm going to leave out his actual name just in case, he's not comfortable with that. He says, "Hi, sister. I'm a Ghanaian living in Raleigh, North Carolina. I lived in North Carolina for more than 20 years. I have a lot of African American friends, and I always tell them to change their slave master's name and take an African one. I am glad to know that you have changed yours. Hopefully, others will also change their names. Please keep using your platform to encourage other African Americans to visit Africa." Thank you so much. I don't know how long you've been living in Ghana. If you are renting a house, do your best to get a piece of land. Great advice. Thank you so much. Build your own house and save money. That's what we're working towards. Thank you again for moving to Africa, your brother. So beautiful. So beautiful. So I want to take a moment to appreciate you for sending this email. I think I responded to you personally, but I just wanted to include it because I want to let y'all know that I am reading everything. Okay? The good, the bad, the ugly, just like this channel represents. I read it all. If I feel like it's something that I'm not interested in responding to, I just won't. Opinions is like anus holes. Everybody has one. So if I feel like it's not resonating with me, then I'm just not going to respond to it. You're entitled to have your opinion. You're entitled to feel how you want to feel, think what you want to think. That is your entitlement, your natural born gifted ability when you was granted breath here on this earth. And so if you choose it for negativity, who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? And I have no control over, at the end of the day, of people or their actions. The only thing I have control over is myself. So if you're commenting and it's something that's not resonating with me, I'm choosing not to respond to that. But for those of you who are commenting and sending your blessings and well wishes, I see it all. I thank you all so much. And I just plan to go forward to just highlight moments like this, because I really, really appreciate them. And I don't want you guys to think for one moment that I'm not appreciative of what you have to say. Your opinion matters. Even if it's bad, you know, your opinion matters. And I just appreciate it all. Thank you so much for sending me this email. And I hope I didn't, you know, make you uncomfortable. But I just really wanted to highlight, you know, this moment, and thank you for your kind words. And if you have not watched my video on how I changed my American last name to a Ghanaian last name, go ahead on over and check that video out. Okay, check it out. Until next video, I will see y'all soon. Make sure that y'all like, share, comment, and as always, subscribe.